could it be as we dare into the dusk night in Saudi Arabia? Could it just be decision day in PFL Tier 1? Welcome one and all to what could be an imperishable, evocative moment in what has been and what will be of PFL's history. Tonight, we may just crown our first ever Season 1 champion. Not only that, our first Tier 1 champion as well. So wherever you are watching this, make sure you sit back and endure in what may be a thrilling ride. Saudi Arabia, which only came onto the Formula 1 calendar at the back end of 2021, may invest in the most typified of history to date in PFL. This is the creme de la creme of drivers in PFL. But who can come out on top in the most prestigious prize in this racing division? This is round 9 of 10. Yes, we do have one more race after this as we venture on to our season finale in Sao Paulo next week. But for the moment, all eyes are cast upon the Saudi Arabian night. I am Ben McCarthy, your commentator. Thank you so very much for your company on this Friday evening, wherever you are in the world. But the attention turns to our 5 drivers out on track, with one of them hoping to take home the championship crown and to be, for the moment, king of Saudi Arabia. Now, in a juxtaposition of what you would expect normally in PFL Tier 1, we have a 25% race ahead of us. So then, this race will obviously be shorter than that, obviously due to a lot lower of a turnout than what we would have wished for. But we have 5 drivers looking to give it absolutely everything. And we will glare at their glitzy greatness. So then, Maxi Monster is the first driver out on track in his Aston Martin. You can see the green machine really coming alight under the lights here at Jeddah. It is a delectable livery, really. Utterly gorgeous. Revokes in the sister Aston Martin also heads out on track, and he too is on the medium compound tyres. Then we have Horrisby as well and M-Player, both coming out on track to assert their presence in this qualifying session. But let's turn our attention to Maxi Monster, the lead driver out on track in his Aston Martin. And let's see what he can do. Through the final corner of this Jeddah Corniche Circuit, where Max Verstappen famously crashed out in the dying moments of qualifying last year, Maxi Monster starts his qualifying session down the main straights. He's going to charge towards the turns 1 and 2 chicane, really requiring a lot of the front end. Then you put the power down, you can see the walls are lurking through every single corner of this Jeddah Corniche Circuit. Maxi Monster realises that and will want to bring it home on this push lap. You can see he's actually struggling with quite a bit of understeer. He's not really commanding the front end of that Aston Martin. But the Aston Martin, the green machine, is still relatively intact. But he will hope for a bit more speed coming from his chassis. Revokes then in the other Aston Martin. Let's see how he fares through the corners. Again, a little bit of understeer there as well. Maybe it could be the medium compound tyres just taking a little bit longer to come into their range. But of course, remember, in this short qualifying session, whatever tyres the drivers set their quickest laps on, that will be their start tyres for the Grand Prix. Maxi Monster still struggling with understeer, but his lap has not been invalidated, and he has one more corner to tackle, and we'll see what his opening chance brings about. as he glares towards the finish line now with DRS wide open. Maxi Monster's provisional time is a 1:31.1. Horridby is just coming through the second sector. Revokes though through the middle sector and on towards the final sector. Maxi Monster sits on provisional pole, but can Revokes steal it from him in the opening chapters of this qualifying session? Indeed he does. By just shy of 0.8 of a second, Revokes goes to the top of the timesheet. Horridby though, he's coming through the final sector as well. And let's see what comes of this lap. Through the 27th and final corner. Gets it, stops, then puts down the power once more. And makes a little tap with the wall, no harm done. But as he reaches the line, Horridby now is on provisional pole by over a second. M player in the Alpine displaces him. Driver after driver, lap by lap. This session is showing quicker times, but here is Lil Gupta. Tonight could be his night, not only in terms of the race, but the championship as well. If he wins this race, no matter the outcome of the fastest lap, if Gupta wins this race, it will be his championship, and you can see how close he is getting to the walls. It's in the divine Alpine livery. He will want to dare to the highest of thrills. And through the middle sector, he is invested in said thrills. The Alpine is just a blur through every single corner of this Jeddah Corniche Circuit. But as he comes through the final corner, as he puts the power down on his medium compound tyres, he hunts down M-Player's lap time of a 1:28.8, and Gupta displaces him by a quarter of a second. The championship leader, perhaps the champion-elect, has started off his event in fine form. So then, after our first runs in this qualifying session, Gupta is on provisional pole ahead of M-Player, Horridby third, Revokes fourth, and Maxi Monster fifth. But Horridby is once more going to thrash his Red Bull car around the Corniche circuit. But through the exit there of turn 2, he lit up the rears, and that isn't going to give him the most amount of speed, and you can feel that the rear is getting loose in that Red Bull. And he's slowed down, he's aborted the lap, has Horridby. So the Red Bull will not be going any quicker on this latest lap. But Revokes and Maxi Monster, the two Aston Martins, once more head out on track with just north of 10 minutes left in this qualifying session. So then it seems like Gupta is going for another lap then. You can tell by the line through the 27th of... Okay, maybe I cannot tell what he's doing because he then comes straight into the pits. So let's quickly go through the championship pecking order. After 8 rounds of 9 in this thrilling season, Gupta stands at the top of the standings on 98 points ahead of Matsubo by 1 point. But with Gupta having 3 wins this season and Matsubo having 2, if Gupta wins, takes 25 points, he will have a 26-point gap to Matsubo going into the final round. And that will not be enough for Matsubo to overcome the deficits he has to the Alpine driver, because Gupta would have more wins if countback became a factor. But let's turn our attention to the two Aston Martins. Maxi Monster is the lead Aston Martin in terms of on the track, but not in terms of lap time. He gets very wide there. He is really struggling with the front end. He's obviously looking for that speed down those long straights, with Jeddah being one of the quickest circuits on the Formula One calendar. You're going to want every ounce of speed down those main straights. Revokes is also on a lap right behind Maxi Monster. It's amazing to see no drivers being severely punished by the rules so far. They recognise the limits they will have to adhere to here at Jeddah. My word, this is a thrill. It is such a thrill to see these drivers tackle with the utmost bravery through these corners. Their limits, their ability is being tested at the highest order here in Jeddah. And as Maxi Monster once more comes round the final corner, let's see what comes of this lap. With DRS wide open and with a lap to chase and a lap which gives him P3. That's a solid improvement there from him. Oh, M-player now. Alpine are first and second at the moment. Forget that. Revoked now. Storms to provisional pole with a lap time of a 1:28.4. And as M-player loses his front wing and will have to lose some time, Revokes. Wow, what a lap. That was crafted with absolute precision, and he has reaped the rewards for the moment. He's on provisional pole ahead of Gupta. M-player, of course, losing his front wing, will have to dive into the pits for a new front wing. And Maxi Monster, of course, fourth ahead of Horace. It's great to see that all five drivers are separated by about 3/4 of a second, which across this Jeddah circuit, which is one of the longest on the Formula One calendar at the moment, standing at 6.174 kilometres, being separated by just a tiny margin is encouraging to see. So then M-player in the Alpine will look to replace his front wing. It's interesting to see that he went for the medium tyres once more, and then Gupta is the latest Alpine to find the wall as well. Is the pressure getting to Gupta? Was there a connection problem? We just do not know. But what we do know is that Gupta has wounded his front wing, and like his teammates, will have to replace it, because he is going to lose an enormous amount of downforce through the corners and throughout the lap here at Jeddah. Wow. Just wow. He's going very quickly through the corners, running off wide, even with a damaged front wing, is Gupta. He impetuously wants to get back into the pits and get himself a spanking new front wing. So then, M-player, he reignites and comes back out onto the track. So too is Maxi Monster. So then, two drivers will be tackling this circuit, thirsting for improvement. And let's see what comes of it. And of course, as well, in the constructors' standings, it's a very intriguing battle as well. Alpine, by just 4 points, are ahead of AlphaTauri, but that battle is kind of ruined at the moment with no AlphaTauri driver present. So of course Alpine may clinch the Constructors' Championship as well. It could be a night of celebration, it could be a night of sensation for the likes of Gupta and Alpine. So then we have now 4 drivers out on track. The 10 player is the leading driver amongst that pack. And once more looks to start a lap. He sits third, just 4 and a bit tenths shy of Revokes' provisional pole position time. M player is looking for the utmost improvement. Can he outqualify his teammates on what could be an outstanding night for Gupta? We will have to see, but M player is crafting his own lap and crafting his own journey to the checkered flag. That front end does look very solid on that Alpine, and as DRS opens, an improvement of nearly 6/10 is found in the first sector alone. We are finding staggering improvements here at Jeddah as M player then gets a little bit flirty with the rear of the car. And it seems like now Maxi Monster has slowed down, so that throws away his latest attempt. But back to M player in the Alpine. The car rages through the twists and turns of this Jeddah Corniche circuit. And with 2 sectors complete and with 2 purple sectors found, could the Alpine throw the most fulminating lap under the lights here in Saudi? He has one more braking zone to negotiate. He negotiates it well, he completes it, and as he puts down the power and as the finish line is in sight, provisionally it's third for M player, but he leaps to the top of the leaderboard by 1/10 and a half. M player, the majesty of excellence through his car with absolute precision. What a sight, what a jaw-dropping sight. But the attention then instantaneously turns to Gupta. What can he do in response to his teammates? Through the first sector, he's found a substantial improvement by nearly half a second. The leaderboards are lighting up, and M player finding some adventure off-road. But back to Gupta. Ostensibly, empirically, the championship elect, the champion elect. Through the first 2 sectors, Gupta has found an indecipherable amount of time. Over 8/10. He's leaving no margin for error here at the Jeddah Corniche Circuit. You are witnessing, you are being treated to a lap of absolute majesty. Gupta rounds the final corner. He seeks to discover what that majesty comes to, and as he reaches the line, the majesty is provisional pole by 6 and a bit tenths of a second. The best, only the best, reach heights like our drivers have done so far in this qualifying session. But Gupta has put that to one side and has thrashed and thrown his Alpine car around the streets of Jeddah with a jaw-dropping lap time of 1:27.6. Revokes is also finding time through the first sector by nearly 3/10. With just moments to spare in this qualifying session, these cars, these drivers are coming alive. Gupta has said what he wishes to say in this qualifying session. What can Revokes, what can M player, what can Maxi Monster do in response? I don't think Maxi Monster will be able to do anything, but Revokes through the final corner. He was formerly on provisional pole, but as he reaches the checkered flag, he's onto the front row. He is 4 and a bit tenths behind Gupta, but he isn't able to trouble him enough. M player is going rather slowly. So too is Maxi Monster. So on what may be a crowning day, Gupta seeks supremacy and has done just that in this qualifying session. He will start from pole for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and if he does donuts, I give up. He has. Gupta, you haven't won the championship. So then, ladies and gentlemen, that is your top 5. That is your grid for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and my words, we were treated to utter glory just there. But I am going to leave to just have a little quick break. But when I return, a red letter day may be upon us. Make sure you do not miss it. This could be a historic moment for PFL. So then, ladies and gentlemen, there is your qualifying order for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Now, it is interesting there that Hornsby set his quickest lap time on the medium compound tyres, and with there only being 5 drivers, that is a very interesting strategy and could reap the grandest of rewards. But it is Gupta who once again is on pole here in PFL Tier 1. So let's see if there is a formation lap, because I'm frankly not sure. Yes, there is. So then, 5 drivers. Just 5 drivers, but they have given us some epic thrills so far today. What we saw in qualifying was frankly incredible. The art of race car driving, the art of commitment was more than just on show. But it may be a chain for what is to be continued in these next 13 laps. The penultimate round of PFL Tier 1 Season 1 is almost upon us. But what will come of it? So then, the clock ticks down. The eagerness, the tension gets greater and greater and greater. We have had an epic, a frankly epic season of PFL racing. A league that started just 9 weeks ago may have its most irrevocable moment yet. The drivers set off the grid for the start of their formation lap. Gupta leads the pack ahead of Revokes, M-Player, Maxi Monster and Hornsby for 13 laps of what may just be a riveting ride. We just beg that they keep it clean. On board then with your champion-elect. Gupta, ever since he made his debut at Zandvoort a few weeks ago, has shown us that so much can be realised in PFL when it comes to speed, sensation and racecraft. But what does he have to give around this Jeddah Corniche circuit? Revokes will look to spoil Gupta's celebratories today. He starts alongside the Alpine M player. Will he be doing some duties for his teammates to bring that championship for Gupta? Or could Maxi Monster or Horrisby have a say in the outcome of this race? Gupta has managed to get a long way clear of Revokes, and that's going to leave the Alpine on the grid for a lot longer than he would have liked. But you can see the predicted pit stop strategies on your screen. It should be a one-stop, with softs and mediums being used. But it's easier to say that than what may be realised. PFL has been indicative of insanity in the past 9 weeks, and we are about to invest in it once more around Jeddah. So then, could it just be a championship winning day for the man that starts this race from pole position? 13 laps to sensation for Gupta, but he has an onslaught of pressure crumbling him, possibly. We are racing in Saudi Arabia. Who gets the best start off the line? It looks like Gupta is going to keep Revokes at arm's length. Horrisby from 5th on the grid has made a monstrous start. He's battling away with M player. Even on the medium tyres, the Red Bull has got a mighty start. They're going to run side by side then. Is the Red Bull going to edge ahead? They both go off track there. The Alpine re-emerges in front. But Horrisby, even on the medium compound tyres, has had a lightning start here at Jeddah. Gupta still leads this race from pole position. He has got the start that he wanted, but behind, it's a three-way scrap for 3rd place. M player is holding on to that final podium place by the skin of his teeth. Horrisby also jumping ahead of Maxi Monster. But side-by-side action from the get-go here at Jeddah as Horrisby really losing the car onto the entry of the corner. Does that give Maxi Monster an opportunity? There's contact between the pair. And that Aston Martin is now a wreck. They ran side by side. They spotted for the tiniest of margins to reap the grandest of rewards. But it is a race-ending incident for Maxi Monster, who has found the wall on lap 1 of 13 here at Jeddah. So then, what do the drivers do? Do they take the chance to pit under this virtual safety car? This should be a one-stop race, and Gupta is going to take that chance. So too is Revokes. M player will remain out on track, and Horrisby then, after wounding his front wing, comes into the pits as well. And we're down to 4 drivers in this race. So then it's the hard compound tyres then for Horrisby, and that is going to really hurt his progress in this race. Gupta then back out onto the track ahead of Revokes. They are separated by less than a second. And if Revokes can stay within a second of the first DRS detection point on lap 3, we could have a battle for the lead. Lap 2 of 13 here at the Jeddah Corniche Circuit. We started with 5. We are currently with 4. Gupta, who started this race from pole, has just made a pit stop. Could that be a call that wins him the championship tonight? We will have to see, but at the moment, Revokes, his presence is growing larger and larger, metre by metre. He is hounding down the Alpine and wants to spoil Gupta's celebrations here tonight. On board then with the Aston Martin of Revokes, the Alpine rear wing is getting larger and larger and larger. Revokes may just have a chance into turn 1. If he can spot a gap, if he can get close enough, he will have a chance. But with an exit like that through turn 27, Gupta should be able to keep him at bay. Lap 3 of 13 here at Jeddah now. M player leads an Alpine 1-2, with Gupta just fending off Revokes for the moment. so much, just so much is tested here at this circuit. It's crazy, it's confounding. But it is incredible as well to see these cars and drivers absolutely nail every aspect of this circuit. There is no shortage of speed, there is no shortage of excitement. There is just plain PFL drama to be enjoyed. Folks, is within touching distance of Gupta's strongholds of the net lead of the race. He's going to have DRS's the Aston Martin on towards the final corner. The DRS should be so very powerful and may just hand the Aston Martin the advantage. Oh no, he hasn't. He is not using it then. So Revoke slotting in behind the Alpine, but down the inside of turn 27. He's not going to assert his authority ahead of Gupta, but as they put down the power, is the Alpine vulnerable? They clock up the speeds. Gupta wanting to weave this way and that way, but as Revoke hounds him down the start-finish straight, the Aston Martin is lended the inside line into turn 1, and that is the net lead of the race for Revokes. Gupta has to concede the position to the Aston Martin, and in effect, it is a change for the lead. Revokes can open up a healthy enough of a gap. He may be outside DRS threat from Gupta. These are critical, utterly critical moments in this Grand Prix. Last time someone said that, Max Verstappen had an unfortunate crash of 51G, so let's hope that isn't replicated here tonight. On board then with Gupta. You can obviously tell that the track limits are not being exercised in the strictest of manners. So these drivers have a little bit more wiggle room than they would be accustomed to, but it is still Revokes ahead of Gupta. They're closing in on M-Player, who of course has yet to pit, but if M-Player with younger medium tyres can come at these two, could we have a three-way battle for the lead? But back to the already riveting battle for the race, the net race lead, and Revokes after stealing the position from Gupta last lap. The Alpine wants to return the compliments down the start-finish straight. He edges ever closer to the Aston Martin. He's not able to make an impression into the turn 1 and 2 chicane. And it is as you were between these two, Revokes still ahead of Gupta. As we've seen in Saudi Arabia for the opening 2 races of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, strategy out on track may be crucial. It will be a chess game of DRS as to see and determine who gets it down the start-finish straight and who may be in the most promising position to have the lead into turn 1. Revokes seems so much quicker behind Gupta, but he's not stretched that gap outside of the advantage that Gupta is not able to steal the race lead back. We have still over half of this race to go. Within distance, within touching distance. Championship celebratory sensation is almost tangible to Gupta. And as he takes the inside line into turn 27, does he take the lead? No. I said it would be a game of strategy. That said strategy is unfolding before our eyes. But Gupta is going to utilise DRS to breeze past the Aston Martin down the start-finish straight. And that once more is the lead for Gupta into turn 1. He started this race from pole. He hasn't led this race since the beginning of lap 2. But as his teammate pits and as he passes Revokes, he is on the path to glory. So then M-Plague emerging out on track ahead of Horridby. So M-Player currently in 3rd place. And it's such a shame there for Horridby, who of course made contact with Maximonster and was set to run the alternate strategy. But that strategy, for the moment, is going to come to absolutely nothing in terms of the battle for the lead. We are creeping towards half distance of this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. All eyes are feasted upon this battle for the lead. Gupta, at the moment, just at the moment, would win the championship with race victory. Revokes is setting about spoiling that sensation, that celebration. He is within touching distance of the lead, but most pivotally does not have track position. But as he gains so much on Gupta into turn one, he's going to assert his authority on the brakes. And is he going to prize the lead off of Gupta's grasp? They're going to run side by side through turn two and on towards turn three. And Gupta still, only just, maintains the lead. They are racing on the finest of margins here in Saudi. Gupta is using absolutely everything in his racing arsenal to cling on to the race lead. Revokes though, is he going to launch an attack? No, not into this particular corner. But what a battle, what a thrilling battle it has been between these two. We are halfway through this Saudi Arabian Grand Prix for Tier 1. PFL has seen so many fantastic races this season. This may be the best of the bunch. We have 6 and a bit laps remaining here at Saudi Arabia. Gupta still holds on to the lead, but Revokes. Is he going to take the lead? Is he going to have track position into the final corner? It's a matter of who wants the DRS. And for the moment, it looks like it's going to be Gupta. He cedes position, but as he opens DRS and rages down the start-finish straight, he draws side by side with the Aston Martin. Frankly thrilling here in Saudi Arabia. Utterly fantastic. It's a race of strategy and it will boil over to the conclusion of this race. But for the moment, it is the Aston Martin of Revokes that has the upper hand. So much is still yet to be determined here at the Jeddah Corniche Circuit. If you have just joined us, firstly, thank you so very much for your company. Secondly, you have missed so much. Revokes and Gupta have battled it out brilliantly for the race lead. It seems like M-Player has found the wall, and that may just grant Hornsby a position into the podium places. We haven't really seen these two at all this race. As this M-Player re-emerges on track, he emerges behind Hornsby. So then back to the battle between Revokes and Gupta. The Alpine has just over 5 laps to find his crown. He will have DRS once more down the start, finish straight. It has proved to be so very powerful. Is he going to utilise its powerfulness into turn 1? No, he isn't. He's just not close enough. But he is going to be saving a lot of battery, is the Alpine. Running in the slipstream with DRS of Revokes ahead. That is going to give a very good battery performance. You can see there it's 71% on the Alpine. It's 49% on the Aston Martin. So then, Gupta is in a healthy position to possibly, battle past the Aston Martin. I've said it before, it's a race of strategy. The Alpine is playing the strategy. Could he play it to an absolute T? We will have to see. M-Player, of course, comes into the pits and then out of the pits with a new front wing and another set of soft compound tyres, but Gupta edges ever closer to Revokes. DRS is open on the Alpine. Is he going to look for the position into the final corner? No, he's going to settle in behind the Aston Martin. He will look for a better exit through the final corner, and Revoke struggles. That hands Gupta the initiative and easily the race lead. He wants to break the toe from the Aston Martin, but with just 4 laps to go, Gupta is on the edge of glory. He has 4 laps to hold on to this race lead. 4 laps to find his championship crown. Could it be? Could it just be here on this Saudi Arabian night for Gupta? He is battled away brilliantly with Revokes, but the Alpine, the championship leader, the championship elect, has the upper hand. It may be a battle to the finish line between these two. They've been strategic with one another. They've been fearless against one another. But with just 3.5 laps to go, once more it is Gupta out in front. He leads from Revokes, Horrisby third, and then M-Player fourth. Of course, Maxi Monster retired on the very first lap after contact with Horrisby. Terminal damage was found on the Aston Martin, and so too was the end of his race. So then, we are creeping towards lap 11 of 13 here at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Gupta is using his promising energy now to streak away from Revokes. But as the Aston Martin has DRS, he does not want to lose touch with the Alpine. 3 laps to go here at the Jeddah Corniche Circuit. Of course, this is a shortened race in terms of what we would normally have in PFL Tier 1. We've still enjoyed the thrills and spills of what has been indicative of this racing division in the past 9 weeks. Gupta is holding his nerve so very well. So many things could have gone wrong for him. He's been in a constant battle with Revokes since the very start. But Revokes is not letting him go. It's been flat out between these two, from the start to lap 11. Revokes wants the initiative, wants the race lead, and wants to steal sensation from Gupta's grasp. He has a chance into turn 27. I think he'll want to slot in behind the Alpine once more. Oh, this could be another Hamilton and Verstappen moment. But Revokes to the outside. Is he going to have DRS down the start-finish straight? They're still running side by side through the final corner. Revokes puts the power down, but the Alpine, does he have DRS? Neither of them have DRS. It's going to be a pure drag race into turn 1. They're getting perilously close, but Revokes leaps up into the lead. This time, it's his time to use every bit of potential he possesses and every bit of adroitness he possesses too. We're on the penultimate lap here at Jeddah. So then, Gupta once more is not going to win the championship in this current position, but let's again have a look at his battle. Oh, it's 27% compared to 36%. Wow! So for the time Gupta ran out in front, his battery has been drained and Revokes has charged his very well. The pendulum has swung back and forth in this race so far. It's swinging in Revokes' favour. Can he maintain the race lead to the end of lap 13? Just 1 and a bit laps to go for Revokes. We'll have to see if he can hold on. A glaring off-board shot of the two drivers here at the Jeddah Corniche Circuit. We are creeping towards the final lap of this race. Gupta can see a championship winning move. He can almost touch it. He's hunting down Revokes, down the start-finish straight, and on towards turn 1, the Alpine. No, he doesn't find the inside line to take the position off the Aston Martin. He will slot in behind Revokes, and the wait, the frustrating, exasperating wait goes on longer. Just glare at the greatness that these two are offering here at the Jeddah Corniche Circuit. In spite of championship circumstances, the pair of them have driven a race worthy of a race win. Revokes wants to get the upper hand on Gupta. Gupta would most certainly want to win the championship on this Saudi evening. The lights are shined on these two drivers who have delivered a race of thrills and spills. They have ignited in the most inspirational battle. Could it be just a few corners away from championship success for Gupta? He has a promising chance. He has DRS. He's going to pull to the outside of Revokes. And the championship could be his. Revokes is going to concede the race lead on towards turn 27. He's going to slot in behind. And as they put down the power through the final corner, the night, the race, the championship belongs to Gupta. He stands above the rest in PFL Tier 1. And he soaks in the grandest, the most supreme of celebratory sensations. Lil Gupta is your champion. His speed has met the sensation he has offered to this league ever since he made his debut around Zandvoort. A few races into the season, but as he wins the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, it is his championship to enjoy. It isn't the same success for his Alpine team, who will not win the championship on this night, particularly as M-Player is quite addicted to the wall at the moment. Horridly, of course, rounds out the podium in P3, with M-Player coming home fourth and looking to terminally damage his car. But your champion of PFL Tier 1 is Lil Gupta. Congratulations to the Alpine driver, who has driven such a supreme season since his debut around Zandvoort. And there you can see bringing his steering wheel onto the podium and lifting his trophy aloft, and sprays the champagne as PFL Tier 1 champion. The number one in PFL Tier 1 Season 1 is that man, Lil Gupta. He only took the championship lead just 1 week ago, but in Matt Zuvo's unfortunate absence tonight, the Alpine driver is the king here in Saudi Arabia. So then there is your finishing order for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. It's a night to savour. It's a championship to remember for Lil Gupta. I'm quite proud of that rhyme, actually. But anyway, thank you also very much for your company tonight in this shortened Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Make sure you join us for the rest of PFL action this weekend. But I'll leave you with this. Your first ever champion of PFL Tier 1 in a long list of champions to come is Lil Gupta. Remember the name, savour the moments,